This Happy Stegodon is a Hydro homie. He's got a front row seat to the best show in Lustria. The Greenskins of the Bone Rattlers tribe and the children of the Old Ones about to face off at the Isle of the Crimson Skull, beneath the bones of some titanic beast. Fitting location for the monster mash about to take place. The Shredder of Lustria, Dread Saurian, leads the charge for Falcon and the Lizardmen, while a Coatl provides it with Harry Potter's Cloak of Invisibility. Potentially worried about that artillery threat posed by Doom Divers and Rock Lava, so they're going to make their big dinosaur invisible. And invisible means invincible, while Orcs and Gobos are busting out the Arachnaroks, the double spider play, to try and go toe-to-toe with dinosaurs. Shelob the Queen and a Goblin Shaman on his Catchweb Spidershrine, taking on the dangerous duty of dealing with the Shredder. I am playing as the Greenskins, and for obvious reasons, I have not been playing much Warhammer 2 recently, but got together with Falcon and played a bunch of really entertaining games, so you'll see them soon. Now, there are a bunch of ways you can try to kill dinosaurs as the Greenskins, but a lot of them are risky or just straight up inefficient. Embracing the kaiju fight is one of the most reliable ways to handle it, so you have Goblin Great Shaman with Vindictive Glare, Sneaky Stabbin', Itchy Nuisance, Gork'll Fix It, and that unique single target nuke, Don't Even Try It. So the game plan is to use that 14 bonus versus large and big HP pool to stuff up the Dread Saurian long enough for archers to fire in and whittle them down. The issue that Arachnaroks face is that their leadership is very underwhelming, especially for the Catchweb at 60, so when they're being hit by that -8 leadership penalty from Dread Aversion, they tend to run away a lot. Besides the two spiders, the army is comprised of 2 Black Orcs, unit of Big Guns, 2 Rusty Airs, and some Missile Cav in the back. And the nice thing about the Catchweb is that you get the big scary monster with all the extra utility and magic play of a mage, and his spell selection is all really spammable, and it's pretty good for whittling down monsters and characters because Vindictive Glare is innately bonus versus large. So tic-tac-toe and swoop, gonna feel that in the morning. We've got a magic missile going his way, and even though they have a small hitbox and they move real fast, not gonna be able to move out of that one in time. Key to the 3 is a bit of a meme, of course, but the fun thing about him is that he's really cheap, so you can afford to bring better support for your Dread Saurian and not have a tiny-ass army. Dread Aversion is a problem for the Greenskins because they don't have great leadership to begin with, so destroying that Shredder is top priority, but at the moment, he's invisible, so there's not a whole lot we can do about him. Supported by a Skink Priest with Chain Lightning, the cohort of Sotek, Bunchasaurus and Skinks, 3 Pterodon Riders, and the Coatl with his bounce spells Uranus Thunderbolt and Lesser Chain Lightning. What the Lizardmen want to do here is essentially push the Shredder into the middle of the pile, force a blob, then nuke it with vortexes. People tend to overcommit to killing big monsters that cost almost 4,000 gold, just kind of human psychology there, and units naturally get blobbed up when surrounding one anyway, so even though Falcon doesn't have any healing whatsoever, no Apotheosis, no Regrowth, no Earthblood, or the Bubble of No Board save that would typically accompany a Dread Saurian, he still has ways to punish units when they dive in to engage. So reason we brought those Mogrov's Mangy Marauders, they have AP, they can be kind of a linchpin of your build in the late game if things go south. They're always providing that armor-piercing volley to help out in the grind against the big dinos. Now the Coatl, bring in the thunder, bring in the lightning, somewhat common pick against the Greenskins from what I've seen, will outduel pretty much any mage and does an exceptional job at quickly clearing out chaff as well. Not to mention, one of the cool properties of Thunderbolt is that it's actually strong for single entities, if you can manage to land a strike. So while the big guns are beaten down on the cohort of Sotek, in a match like this one, where a monster mash is inevitable, having the utility from those bounce spells to blow up infantry or hurt the spiders with Uranus is a really nice call. Vindictive Glare going in against the Dread Saurian, dealing a bit of damage. That wasn't overcast, but 7,500 HP means overcasts are kind of negligible for the Catchweb Spidershrine, and Shelob the Queen bouncing in there, and this is what I'm talking about. The Black Orcs naturally are going to get a bit blobbed up when they surround the Dread Saurian and try to deal their armor-piercing damage. That is when the Chain Lightning comes in, and it took those Black Orcs down to half HP immediately, and it's going to take an even more dangerous arc as it bounds away straight into the routing Big Guns, and then dealing a ton of friendly fire damage too to the cohort of Sotek and to the Skinks as well. It's such a weird element of Total War, somewhat counterintuitive in that ignoring the most important unit on the enemy side of the field here would probably be a good thing. Falcon is clearly prepared for the Greenskins to overcommit on the Shredder, so what you do here is see the spell selection at the start of the battle, recognize the strategy being employed, and then try not to fall into it, which is, of course, easier said than done, but having the Black Orcs charge into the source instead of the Dread Saurian would have probably been a better use for them. Honestly though, infantry is not the key component of either army here. Not even Black Orcs. Brought them for the immunopsychology and to win their fights against Saurus, but they were always going to have a rough time when the Shredder made landfall, and Falcon will easily push through wherever it treads. That Skink Priest got 700, 800 damage value from a single Chain Lightning, so a lot of carnage from him already. Black Orcs are routing off. More Black Orcs coming in from the flank. That patented Goblin Shaman combination of Sneaky Stabbin' and Itchy Nuisance going down in the center to simultaneously debuff the Dread Saurian and Coatl while giving the Catchweb Spidershrine and Shelob a bit more punching power in that grind, and Chain Lightning hitting to Rusty Errors in the background, taking them down to half HP. That aura around the Coatl is super obnoxious. I mean, I don't remember it doing that in previous patches. Is that a new thing from the most recent patch? The way it's kind of shifting constantly as the Coatl does its thing, which, I mean, we've already seen the animations for it are kind of wonky. When it goes down into melee and it pivots all the time, that's always been a problem with it itself, but I've never seen the aura pivot the way it's doing right now, and I mean, whatever. I guess we'll try to ignore it, but it looks really stupid. Hardly shocking here, but the Lizardmen will be able to push through. Already the Arachnarok Queen and the Catchweb Spidershrine are routing off, looking to disengage and just get the hell away from that Saurian and Coatl combination. Archers have been able to fire in and do quite a lot of damage. Shredder of Lustria is down to below half HP, while the Coatl is as well. We've had that nice arcing support coming in from the Rusty Errors, Mogrove's Mangy Marauders, all the missile calves staying online, dealing some damage to the Pterodon Riders too, but this was always an inevitability. The Lizardmen were always going to be able to push through the Greenskins' front line, even with the additional investment of those two Black Orcs. They just can't deal with the Shredder. I mean, it's 3,700 gold of pure carnage and terror, and the Greenskins are naturally running for the hills as a result. But that's okay. There wasn't an insane amount of investment on the Greenskins' front line. Again, they had the two Black Orcs and the big guns, but you could spend a lot more on infantry as the Greenskins, and really the key component of their army is still online. All their missile cav and the two Catchweb Spidershrines. That, in and of itself, is enough to potentially win this game. Of course, getting rid of the Dread Saurian is going to be top priority now. We can only ignore it for so long. The Swoop going in, Tic-Tac-Toe leading the charge as Lizardmen push up the hill. Coatl also in the vanguard. And Greenskins looking to grab themselves a commanding position atop the crest of that hill and possibly countercharge down it if the opportunity arises. Have not seen too many Vindictive Glares recently. I think that probably would have had time to cast one or two in the gap after that initial fight and then the subsequent retreat up this hill, so perhaps some more Magic Missile plays should be coming out of that Arachnarok Queen, or rather the Catchweb Spidershrine, but regardless, the Dread Saurian is dropping low at this point, and in a normal situation, the Greenskins would love to just kite this out. Shelob and the Catchweb Spidershrine are both faster than the Dread Saurian. They could kite it, they could Magic Missile it down, and they'd have a fun time. The issue is that the Lizardmen have the aerial superiority, and the Coatl and the Pterodons have enough speed to potentially catch up to some of these units, tie them down, and allow the Shredder to catch up and put the nail in their proverbial coffin, so to speak. So Greenskins do have to commit here, and they will do so with Wah Pop now. Black Orcs charging in from the flank while the big guns charge in from the center, and they're just going to try to do whatever they can to get rid of this support for the Shredder, leave that Coatl and the big dinosaur isolated, and hopefully, well, after some Black Orcs lose their heads to tail thwaps, that's certainly one way to get decapitated. But yeah, leave the beasts isolated, get rid of their support, pincushion them, and then chase them to the edge of the map with the superior mobility you have on the ground with those Spider Riders and the Wolf Riders. But at the moment, the Pterodon Riders are kind of zoning them out, and as Itchy Nuisance and Sneaky Stabbin' combo hits the Dread Saurian and the two Arachnarok Spiders, this is a losing fight for the Greenskins. Even with all those debuffs, the Dread Saurian is too beastly, Coatl is too beastly, and the Spiders will rout. This is where the leadership kicks in, and it's not a good way for it to be kicking in. They're running the opposite direction they need to. In fact, the Catchweb can't even disengage. There's so much mass in that monster mash going on. Somehow, the Arachnarok Queen is still in there. She has 75 leadership while the Catchweb has 60, so managing to survive for a little bit longer, that Dread Aversion penalty not affecting her quite so drastically, but still, the Goblin Shaman cannot retreat, And it is very clear that the Arachnarok Queen won't be able to stick around for much longer either, especially when she turns her flank like a dumbass. Don't you love that when your monsters are fighting infantry and just say, hey, big scary monster with 750 weapon strength and a bunch of armor piercing, I want you to attack me in the butt, not from the front. Oh, it's just glorious. So, big shift on the balance of power here. Lizardmen taking a commanding lead against the Bone Rattler tribe, and the Dread Saurian continuing to harry that Arachnarok Queen, and 1 or 2 more strikes might be enough to finish her off for good. Yeah, that HP bar dropping quite low, down to 1,500 health. Over on this side, the aerial goon squad dealing with the Wolf Riders and Spider Riders who were out of ammunition and decided to countercharge, trying to get rid of the aerial presence. Not quite able to do it, but they won't necessarily be chased off the map either. Dread Saurian did not continue the pursuit though, and that's Falcon memeing a little bit there. He definitely could have chased it all the way to the edge of the map, and I think it would probably be GG from that point on. Instead, both the spiders will rally here, and a vindictive glare arcing its way across the battlefield. Not overcast this time. The Goblin Great Shaman simply cannot take the risk of overcasting any of their spells. If a miscast happens, it will probably just blow up, and you don't want to see that from your Lord. I think that would cause a cascade effect that would probably lead to a mass rout and a loss. So definitely not going to overcast anything. Just regular Vindictive Glare should be enough here, hopefully. And now he's got some space. Look at how low cooldown that spell is. Shooting it across the battlefield. Down to 26 HP is the Shredder of Lustria. Down to 6 HP now. And somehow just decided to rout. Okay, so back in this fight, baby. Falcon could have probably just finished it off. And if this was a tournament game, he almost certainly would have done so. But in this situation, in a friendly match, looking for a bit more of a spectacle, I guess. And both the Arachnarok Spiders have returned, albeit with only a sliver of health left. And those friendly, brave Gobbos ready to charge in all by themselves in the shadow of the Colossus. And we'll see if they can do anything, but realistically probably will rout before they even make it into melee combat. So Falcon has turned his attention back to the 2 spiders, and he's got some Saurus and Skink cohort ready to charge downhill. The Mogreb's Mangy Marauders and the Spider Rider Archers don't really want to fully commit here. What they'd like to do is perhaps bait the Pterodon Riders into a fight. Another magic missile, this time into the Coatl, and yeah, this is really what should have been getting cast the entire game. Keep the Arachnarok out of the fight and just cast magic missiles as much as you can. But then again, that's what the Coatl is good for, right? It provides that cloak of invisibility. So if you want to play the kite game, then the Dread Saurian can chill back too, and you won't even be able to see it. He's dead. He's gone. He had 6 HP, and somehow that was enough leadership for him to charge all the way in. But the Arachnarok Queen managed to strike that killing blow, and now the Lizardmen are in disarray. Both spiders are dropping low on the leadership side, but that's been true for most of this battle. Sneaky stabbing, increasing melee attack and weapon damage, and the Coatl in its death throes also out of the fight. Both single entity monsters for Lizardmen are gone, but the Arachnarok Queen just shattered as well, and the Goblin Great Shaman just broke off, routing for the hills. So balance bar is still in favor of the Lizardmen here. Spider hatchlings charging in alongside the Spider Rider Archers, but it's just Skink cohort, a few Saurus, and the Skink Priest of the Lore of Heavens, but everything is routing now. Chain Lightning trying to clear out all the chaff, mostly gonna miss here. And we've still got a barn burner on our hands, folks. We've got a Skink Priest against a Goblin Great Shaman with only a sliver of health left. Then again, Lizardmen casters tend to not hit very hard. So maybe it'll be enough. Heaven's caster breaking off towards that extract, doesn't want to be here anymore, but hell, if Falcon is going to allow the Arachnarok Queen to return to the fold, then perhaps we shall let the same thing happen for the Skink Priest and have a righteous duel at the end of the game. Gonna focus on the Saurus instead. Forget the caster, forget his influence over the balance of power. Get a nice uphill charge, an impactful one straight into the middle of the Skink cohort, and the Lizardmen infantry all routing, and we shall not see them return. Their homeland shall be their grave. But like I said, want to allow that Skink Priest to return, because there's a duel brewing. A 1v1 of epic proportions, and it's totally fair. I mean, an Arachnarok Spider, honestly, it would only take 1 or 2 hits from that Skink Priest to rout off his Goblin Great Shaman. And the Vortex would deal a little bit of damage too if he can get it off. That's the question though. First impact, predictably, it's King Priest going flying. Second impact, predictably, going flying another 45, 50 feet. And that will continue happening. We're playing football. Imagine if Cristiano Ronaldo had 8 legs. He'd be pretty OP. That's what's happening here. Got some velocity on those strikes, but still not landing any actual attacks. Just bullying him, just pushing him around over and over and over again. Finally, this King Priest sticking in there. And remember that the Goblin Great Shaman is already routed twice. If he routes a third time, it'll be Shatter City. It'll be game. But this King Priest routes first. 1,000 health left of the Goblin Great Shaman. Chain Lightning didn't do a whole lot. Never does against single entities. Skink Cohort and some Spider Riders fighting in the background, but that's tertiary, not important. Allow this King Priest to return. Wavering on both sides. Oh my god, dude. If the Skink Priest of the Lord of Heaven somehow won this match, that would be such an insane last stand. He's dealing damage. He's landed a couple of attacks now. He just doesn't hit very hard. And that's it. The Bone Rattler tribe manages to win it. What a spectacle that was. That was a hilarious game. Really entertaining match. Obviously not very try-hard, but sometimes you just want to go in and have fun with a friend, so that's what we did there. He was nice to me in that he allowed my spider to return. I was nice to him in allowing his spellcaster to return. And then we got that glorious duel as a result. Now, of course, those things aren't exactly equivalent. An Arachnarok Queen coming back is a bigger swing on the balance of power than Ace King Priest with only 1 spell. So, yeah, I get it. Falcon probably deserved to win that game, but I'm not really worried about it. Like I said, it was... The ending there was a much more exciting one than we would have gotten otherwise, and that duel ended up being pretty hilarious, so I was glad it all worked out that way in the end. The Dread Saurian put in so much work that game. 3,000 damage value on that, 3,000 damage value on my Catchweb Spidershrine, and I had a lot of issues bringing the Dread Saurian down, and he didn't even bring healing, so with some regrowths or apotheosis, that could have been even more nightmarish. Hope you guys enjoyed the battle, and more from our series coming very soon, and I will see you all in the next one. Indie Pride, signing out for now. Have a good one, guys.